Hot damn, Paragon is about to get hit square in the face with some big changes. I just made a video about the tiny change to siege minions that will have a big impact on the way that you actually play, and then boom, many bigger, scarier changes. And many people are actually freaking out about these changes, so let's cover just what they are and how best to deal and react with them. First up, travel mode. Travel mode is hated by many players. Its current state means rotating is very easy while hard to punish. You used to get snared when someone hit you when you're in travel mode. Now you just go into your normal movement, so it's a bit too easy on you. Team strats such as the death ball are made viable when travel mode functions like this, and hell, catching someone can be really irritating as well. Epic's opinion on travel mode is that it definitely needs to be dealt with, and many players believe it should just be removed from the game. Now, we know straight removing it is a shitty idea. The game would be slow as fuck and boring to play, boring to watch as well. An awful choice, which is why Epic has not just straight removed it. They've changed the way it works many times, and today we face a new change that might seem small but could have big impact and what they're looking for in the change. The new travel mode speed is now 750 from 880. Overall, it doesn't sound that different, it's just a bit slower, but the fact that it takes you longer to move from lane to lane ever so slightly might just deal with death balls. It might just punish players who overcommit more. Maybe it'll make it easier to finish someone you've actually caught out and they won't just walk away, but we're gonna have to wait and see how it is in action. And if it doesn't work, I'm sure Epic will deal with it swiftly as they always do. Then we have the big one, the main one, the new way Prime works. Holy shit, dude, people are freaking the fuck out about this one. Prime is a big enemy, you know, you kill it and the person who landed the killing blow is given a pink orb that they can hand in at the enemy side to buff themselves and their team. Or maybe they could take it to their own side to respawn their dead inhibitors. Well, not anymore. In this patch, the team that kills Prime instantly gains the buff they previously need to take all the way to the enemy hand-in zone to gain the same buff. So, you can't hand it in defensively anymore because there is no orb to carry, which probably means you can't respawn inhibitors anymore. But it does mean the very moment that you kill Prime, the buff becomes active and the whole team gets way stronger. So why has Epic made this huge change? And why are people freaking out about it? Well, as always, Epic are working towards making the games last less time, to end around 30 minutes on average. If you're not having to hand in the orb to get the massive buff, then it's going to be used more. People are going to fight for it a lot more, and it's going to have more impact on the game. Simply put, you're not going to have to fight to win the right to then kill Prime, and then fight yet again just to hand it in. You know, you might lose the orb in that fight, their hand-in zone, and then they might grab it and hand it in defensively right there to bring back their inhibs, removing all of that hard work you just did in the last 20 minutes. So for a lot of people, it was super risky to kill Prime and try and hand it in. It could backfire, it could bring the enemy team back into the game, or it could be the thing that finishes a game. But overall, it was always too risky in many players' eyes anyway to actually try. So this change could have a big impact on the way the game is played and how much Prime is actually going to be targeted. But the problem is that it's super fucking generic. In my eyes, this change is probably good for the pace of the game, but it's a fucking boring change. The idea that you had to take the orb and dunk it was cool. It was fun. The idea that you could hand it in defensively has never been done before in any MOBA, and it adds more variety and fun itself. But now that's gone, we're left with basically the same mechanic as every other fucking MOBA. Kill the big boss, get a buff of some kind, and there's not much to it. I do believe it's going to help the game, and I do believe it's going to change the meta in a huge way. But in my opinion, I'd rather see them keep variety and change something else to get this goal that they're trying to achieve of shorter games. So my advice to you is to play and be open-minded. This change is probably really good for Paragon, and if it isn't, I'm sure they will change it back sharpish, so don't lose your mind over it. They've also made another big change. Harvesters spawn much earlier in the game. The side harvesters are going to spawn at 3 minutes instead of 6 minutes, and the prime harvester is going to spawn at 6 minutes into the game instead of 9. On top of that, they're also going to regen their health slower too, so they'll probably get killed more as well. Perhaps the earlier spawn times for these harvesters is going to allow for more CXP and XP for both teams sooner, and the result is most likely a faster way to get to max level and of course 60 out of 60 car points. So we get to those later stages of the game faster overall, and so it's another change to help shorten the games. If the averages don't drop after this patch, I would be blown away. But hopefully we're going to face less longer games. And then after all of that, towers have changed themselves too. They're going to shoot a lot faster, but each shot is going to do less damage, which honestly seems pretty pointless to me, but sure, that's fine. But hey, while they're at it, their hitboxes are now bigger too. This makes it a lot easier for you or even your enemies to hit towers. Perhaps this is actually going to impact how hard it is to block a tower physically. A simple strategy. You'd stand in the way of your enemies who are trying to attack your tower. They'd accidentally hit you, and then your tower would then target them instead. A simple and solid way to defend a tower. And if this is harder to do because their hitboxes are bigger so it's easier to hit them, it may make killing towers and even inhibs easier ever so slightly to help shorten game time once again. And these are the changes that I was just talking about, the ones that I like. They have that subtle impact to achieve the goal of shorter games compared to the massive change that will completely change the meta, like the prime change. But again, they do have to make these big changes to see how the game feels when they do that, to see whether the community actually likes it or not. Don't forget, in this patch we also have some quality of life updates that have updated animations to most characters. It's going to make for smoother, better looking fights and games. And finally, it's the favorite part of the patches to me, the new skins. Paragon has some of the best potential out of all MOBAs when it comes to skins, thanks to the Unreal Engine. They can do so much more with it visually, so it's great to see what they've added with this potential in mind. And finally, we are actually seeing a tier 3 skin in-game. So tier 1 and tier 2 skins change the colors and visuals of characters, sometimes massively. Just look at the skin for Rampage. God damn, that's lovely. But finally, we have new animations to go with everything else in the new skin for Steel. Doomsday Steel, the first tier 3 skin, and he fucking looks beastly with all of the new effects on every ability on top of his new visuals. That shield, man, he looks dope. Lovely to see this in game, and I'm still holding out for that Murdoch skin, you know, the one on my wall behind me. Look, it's the poster. Just look at that. Give me that fucking Gatling gun already. I want that shit. But, you know, Doomsday Steel, he does look pretty cool. Don't forget, we also have a lovely blue Chimera with the Moon Viper skin, changing his skin and overall look in game. This one looks sweet. Then we have the Amethyst Muriel, which, you know, if you like purple, should please you. But I gotta say, it's not the most interesting skin. And just like Bellica's Challenger skin, I just think it looks worse than the original. But that's probably because I'm not a big fan of the purple color, right? Nightshade Faye comes in looking very blue herself. It seems like this update is the blue skin update. Anyway, she looks very much like a fairy compared to a fae, which is a fun change for those who play her. And last but not least, we have the new Greystone skin, the White Tiger. Similar to Chimera's White Tiger skin, we see white and hints of gold all over his armor, which does look very sweet. But then, dude, that new helmet, holy shit. A simple but lovely change that reminds me of the knights who would wear animal-style armors. Easily my favorite skin in this change outside of the steel skin. And yes, fuck dude, it really lends itself to saying this guy's Jaime Lannister, because Jaime Lannister had like that lion helmet, didn't he? They're just going with that stereotype at this point. Oh, and one last thing, they're hinting currently at the new character, the new hero that's coming out on Thursday. As you can see, it's a character that wields some sort of a big-ass blade, and you can actually see his face on the sword in the reflection. So we know it's a guy, and we know they use some sort of big blade. So look forward to that. Alright guys, that's it for now on the upcoming changes. I wish you the best of luck in this new meta. It's gonna feel very different, but again, I urge you to remain calm and try them before you judge them. Epic knows what they're doing, and if they make any mistakes, they've always been great at dealing with them. So we might see some reverted if we don't like it. Best of luck, and I will see you guys next time.